Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are talking about the 5 engines of the South Simcoe Railway, which is a museum slash tourist railway in Ontario, Canada. South Simcoe operates tourist trains along a 7.6 kilometer long route between Tottenham and Beaton and then back to Tottenham. The South Simcoe Railway has 5 engines, 2 steam engines and 3 diesels. One of the steam engines operates the tourist trains on an annual basis, along with one of the diesels. The steam engines are as follow. Number 136, which is an A2M 440 wheel arrangement, and was built for the Canadian Pacific Railway in 1883 by the Rogers Locomotive and Machine Works. It currently operates the tourist trains mostly every year. Sometimes it's replaced by the diesel, which we'll get to later. And it's most famous for its whistle, which was used in various TV shows and movies. As well as the engine itself appearing in National Dream in the 1970s. It was a Canadian documentary show. The engine itself was actually used in the building of the Transcontinental Railway for Canada in the 1880s. And it accompanied by 1057, which is a D10H 460 10-wheeler, also built for the Canadian Pacific in 1912 by the Montreal Locomotive Works. This engine is awaiting restoration as it has not run since 2007. It sits on the property in the yard in Tottenham. The 3 diesels are number 10, which is a 165 DE040. Its owners are unknown, as well as its build date. The manufacturer is Ruston Hornsby, and the engine can run, however, it just sits in the yard in the property along with 1057. Also sitting in the yard is number 22, which is a DTC side rod built for the Canadian Pacific in 1960 by the Canadian Locomotive Company. Again, this engine is operational, however, it just sits in the yard and hasn't run the tourist trains since the 1990s. The final engine is number 703, which is a 70-tonner built for the Norfolk Southern in 1948, built by General Electric. This engine is, again, operational. However, instead of sitting on the property, it is actually used on tourist trains, and I have filmed it on at least one occasion. I believe I filmed it twice. And it has a very loud horn. You wouldn't think it was built by or built for the Norfolk Southern, though, because it was painted in the Canadian Pacific Maroon and Gray scheme, which led me to think it was built for them in the first place when I first saw it. However, I later found out that I was incorrect. The South Simcoe is a standard gauge railway, meaning the normal width between the 2 rails that is commonly found across North America. And it has 1 station in Tottenham, which is actually the historical station built for the CN lines that ran through there, which used to also share tracks with the CN Freight Company until CN gave over ownership to this small company to run tourist trains. It was founded in 1992 and consists of a 7.6 kilometer route going between Tottenham, Ontario, and Beaton, Ontario, and then going back to Tottenham. So it really isn't 7.6 kilometers, but the total length of there and back is. And those are the 5 engines built for the South Simcoe Railway and some information about them. If you want me to do anything about the passenger cars and freight cars that are at the property, then let me know, and I will try and do so. Bye bye.